Hey everyone, I'm sure most of you already know about Ice Poseidon, especially after his fiasco at a Thai hotel where he's giving his girlfriend a lap dance and a magic came in and yelled at him. But for those who haven't seen the video, you might think it's a bit sexual from the way I described it, but in reality it was very clearly meant as a joke for people on the stream. He was wearing feminine lingerie that was really small for him, he was playing generic cowboy music in the background, and he was shoving cake in the face, so it was very clearly meant for comedy rather than actually be sexual. However, the security who were actually watching them through the cameras in a private room actually came in and yelled at them, and the manager was way more angry at them than everyone else was. They argued for quite a bit and they were forced to go to the police station, but thankfully they were free on the condition they had to come back 6 hours later with a lawyer. That condition sounds really harsh, especially compared to the crime they were getting yelled at for that was just meant as a joke, but that actually was a way better outcome than when the situation got worse and they actually were threatened with a sentence of 5 years in prison. This was a huge shift in direction compared to 2 weeks ago when everyone else thought it was funny that was getting yelled at for, but now there's an actual threat of them losing years of their life for just a 1 minute short dance. I've seen a lot of people saying they deserve the sentence. One reason being what they did was offensive to Thai people because they saw Thai was a sexualized country, therefore they could do that in that private room. Then the second reason being he deserves all of this for the crypto scams he did a few years back. And even though I don't know a lot about that, I'm trying to look at this from how is this legally possible perspective of how mind-blowing it is. Because regardless of your opinion on him, it is crazy seeing a tourist go to a country and get a 5-year sentence for an act that's barely considered a crime in other countries. Although I do want to preface that even though the main headline is you get 5 years in prison, there is an alternate fine you could pay over 100,000 Thai baht, which is around $3,000. But I'm not sure if that would cover one person or both Ice Poseidon and Deepak, because he's been clumped in there as well. But regardless if the fine is much as the jail sentence, it's still crazy to see going to prison was still a possibility to begin with, especially because Deepak is being slumped there as well, even though he didn't even dance along. Instead, he got in trouble for live streaming it, so in the eyes of police, he was live streaming porn because it was a lap dance and he had a camera, which is by far the biggest stretch possible to get someone to go to prison, because the lap dance could barely be considered sexual, but in Thailand porn is illegal, which is why they viewed the stream in a very harsh way. And that strict law covers all aspects of porn, recording or selling it, since the country is very conservative, and this law actually shocked me because I never knew about it before this event. Of course, I always knew Thailand wasn't over-sexualized as portrayed in movies or media, but I always imagine they had normal laws most other countries that weren't as strict as this one in particular. But after looking up similar laws in Asia, I noticed this trend of really weird rules that I really never knew about before. For example, in Singapore, where porn is also illegal, you're not allowed to walk through your house naked, because if someone could see you through the window, that would be counted as porn, even if you're on the top floor of a hotel. Then alongside that, in Japan, if you're overweight, your job could give you weight loss classes as part of your employment, which is still so weird to me. So perhaps for people who grew up in Asia and knew about this law before, this whole arrest situation isn't that surprising to them anyways. I mean, it's not this is the first time this has happened before in the past, because about 2 years ago in 2021, a couple in Bangkok who was staying in a hotel got arrested for making OnlyFans content. Now, it's funny seeing this similarity between them and this situation of Ice Poseidon, because they got a 3-year sentence with the alternative fine of 60,000 baht, which is $1,700. But don't ask me how the couple recording actual porn got a smaller sentence than the people recording a lap dance where they weren't even nude, because I really don't know. However, this does prove countries tend to be more harsher on people who are popular on social media as a way to make an example of them for other people across the world who have that kind of same view that they saw it would be okay to do that in that country. But I still feel getting a sentence is an extremely strict punishment, especially because most people saw he would get a fine, which is the most understandable method, or they would get deported, which is worse, but it's not as bad as getting an actual 5-year sentence. But then at that point it would get the message across that people in Thailand find that offensive and they want to get rid of that whole perspective of the culture. But due to the fact that they're arrested, him and his friends have been having a really hard time and been put under a lot of pressure, with them having to go to the police station every day and having to record an apology video as well.
I'm being held in Thailand for the actions that I've done a few nights ago at a hotel in Bangkok, Thailand. I wanted to make this video to apologize to Mrs. Noparat Oompa and the Bayan Tree Hotel in Bangkok for the actions that I've done. I did not know the severity of the actions that I've caused, and I was just trying to have fun, and I'm sorry. We were drunk, we were in a room. I just didn't understand the severity of what I've done. I'm lap dancing on my girlfriend, and I'm sorry for that.
I'm sorry.
I did not want to cause any negative actions towards anyone, and I didn't want to make the hotel look bad or anything, so I apologize.
We are apologize.
I hope for the speedy release of all of us, and thank you.
Thank you.
This is by far one of the most weirdest apology videos ever, not just from like the context behind it, but also Deepak standing there on the left just looking miserable. I was going to bring up Aspa's girlfriend, Kimberly, who even though wasn't sentenced, she was treated pretty poorly because she was like one of the main reasons why the stream was considered like pornographic. And that's because the police said like her dress was like too revealing and like showing too much breast, even though it was a pretty normal dress. Aspa even mentioned how like him and his other friends were like physically harassed by like the non-police, and Kimberly was like also like sexually harassed by the police as well. And that makes me feel really bad for her because he was like one of the most apologetic people when they were arguing with the manager back at the hotel. So even if you don't like Aspa, you have to admit like this is a pretty stressful situation for him and his friends, because like they were expecting to go on a nice holiday but instead had a threat of actually going to prison in a different country as well. I was wondering about like how much money they've sunk into getting a lawyer to defend them, which is 300,000 baht, which is like $8,500. So I can't imagine how much this whole situation will cost at the end, after like the court in the August that he said we'll have, and then the trial he's gonna have later in 2024, which means like you have to stay in the country. So on two sides they're really fucked, because even though they've posted bail of like $12,000, they still can't leave Thailand, so they have to stay like a long time there. And then on the other side, this whole event and its future is gonna cost them like an insane amount by the end. And to be honest, if there was like any other person that wasn't as rich as like Aspa, or wasn't as popular as him, they would 100% be fucked, because I have no idea how would you manage like that much money and like have to stay in that country for that long. And one benefit he has as well is like his popularity, because he's even said like he has evidence to show like how poorly he was treated by the police and like the non-police as well, which he's even said like the news outlet would love to cover as well. And since he's a pretty like well-known streamer, he would definitely get like more like attention spread around you like his story, which he is like sort of doing that right now, because he is like sharing his experiences like on Discord frequently, like showing pictures of him going to the police station every single day. And he even told about like the disgusting cell he had the first time he was arrested, where the only like toilet he was offered, which is a bucket that was already full of shit. So just from that short experience, he's confident like he would not survive well in prison, especially because like the huge language barrier in being in Thailand. So far right now, I think the only possibility of them like avoiding the sentence, such as paying the fine, is him defending himself by saying like what he and Deepak recorded wasn't like aimed to be porn, and which was meant to be like as a joke. But considering the fact like how quickly this changed in like a matter of a few days, it's really hard to try and judge where this is gonna go in the future. As well as the fact like his court day and trial is like quite a time ahead, and by then like more information could come out that could change the situation. In general, it's pretty crazy like looking up information about this whole event and like seeing like the Discord messages he had like talking about like the stuff that happened. And by the end, he might share like more information about the whole event, because he can't really talk about it as in detail as he wants, because he has to like keep it private, and he's like talking with his lawyer about it. So overall, even though I haven't really watched much like Aspa before in the past, it's still crazy seeing like how this like one simple joke has snowballed into a really stressful situation that's like his friends have been dragged into as well. I definitely want to see where this is going to go in the future, like how he's going to manage in Thailand, how he's going to get the charge dropped, or worse, actually go to prison. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.